Hello, everybody. Let me get D in here now with my tipsy self. Hey,
Still tipsy? Hey, still tipsy?
it's been a long morning, D. I was like, what? I'm forgetting to do something. Hey, D, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm good now. Like I was like, I'm forget. I literally sat here and I was like, did I send you the link? Then I've been sitting here for 30 minutes, like, child, the mouse started being weird. You know, as soon as you try to do stuff try to act raggedy. But I'm so
Exactly.
happy you're here.
No problem.
I am so happy you're here. Looks like we have some people in the chat already, and that is always
Yes.
awesome. Let's see what they're talking about. I just scream, yes, girl.
Yeah.
When I seen this, can't wait. Yes, yes, yes. Oh Lord, been waiting for this one. I'm telling you, like, I am just really like flabbergasted, D, because I'm like, as soon as I lose a little bit of interest, I'm like, you know what? I'm really not checking for Harlem. They want to kind of show up.
Right.
They kind of showed up between episodes 5 and 8, especially 6 and 7. Like,
Mhm.
do you feel like the show picked up? Because I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, I feel like we just were discussing our issues with it, and then it's almost like somebody heard us and was like, "Okay, let's figure something out real quick." So yeah, I was surprised, definitely.
Oh my goodness. Like, well, I don't want to keep you, D, because I'm like, since we didn't, talk about something, I just really had some stuff come up that week. I'm like, now we gotta like low key play catch up. So who said
I
what you
know.
drinking? Shanice, it was vodka. I don't go far. It's vodka or tequila. Oh, happy Sunday. Hello, hello. Okay, so D, like, but see, I feel, oh my god, like I got so much other stuff I want to talk about. But we can't just skip over stuff that we didn't, because we like, y'all gonna talk about the whole thing. I want your opinions on all of it. Like, y'all left us high and dry. It wasn't
Right.
intentionally, but I believe like in episode 5, we start off with Miss Camille here. And
Mhm.
we all know Camille was lying. Avoidance is like the key word with her not being able to maybe have children. And she decided to keep this from Ian. And we just see her kind of dealing with avoidance of just everything and keeping everything a secret, moving like really weird. And we learn in the episode that this is courtesy of her mother, who is Jwali here. I was like, it's Indigo.
Right.
I was so excited to see her, but how did you feel about us getting into Camille and how she was handling Ian and just getting into her mother? Because I was like, it just felt like it was a little bit more than avoidance, because child, it was Hanukkah, Halloween, and Christmas all at the same time. But it was like I'm just trying to, kind of be vibrant and kind of live in the moment instead of kind of
Mhm.
dealing with what I believe was her father passing away and her losing her husband. And it's just
Mhm.
like you have been in a mood of avoiding everything ever since I was a child. And now we see what happened to Camille and how she turned out. She is, acting like her mother.
Yeah. Well, first, Joali was a big surprise. I think on these shows, like a big thing. I think any show, whether it's this, Insecure, Living Single, Girlfriends, like knowing who the moms are, like that's always an interesting thing because we don't know is it going to be someone we know, is it someone new, and it's always interesting seeing that dynamic. So I couldn't even kind of think as to who her mom would be, but Joali was not. I definitely wouldn't have guessed that, and I don't know if it was intentional, but this story is focused around Harlem and New York, and you know that Spike Lee, who's used his sister in so many of his films, and like
Mhm.
so many of his films are like a love letter to New York in so many
Yeah.
ways. So I kind of liked how they tied that in there, and I was surprised. Like I didn't think it was going to be this whole kind of mental health piece with her mom, and just like that was kind of a shocker. I figured it would be one of those things where her mother was maybe I don't know, like strict or
Yeah.
hard, or maybe maybe emotionally distant, something to where that would explain why she is the way she is, and kind of
Mhm.
more directly connect with her personality and how she deals with things. But yeah, this one was a curveball, but I like that they took it there because it's not something I would have anticipated.
Yes, I loved it. Like not even just the mental health thing with Joalee's character, but when we got into her or got into Quinn,
Yeah.
I think, and I can't. You know what? We who said we have to go in order? I can't even. No, like by the time we got to episode 5, I was like, okay, something's wrong with Quinn. Cause I think
Hmm.
for so long, let me find my Quinn. Cause let me get her and Isabella up here. Cause I was real tired. Like, girl, I need you to get over it. It's not that deep.
Right.
But when we get into this episode, we have her being who she is for her pride. Child, she looked like the rainbow threw up.
All over.
Twins looks a hot freaking mess, but you see her just go from kind of just being down and oh Isabella, and then her emotions are really all over the place. But you see her kind of really attach herself to Ty, and we need to go to Pride. And it's just I love the whole situation with Pride. I love when they just kind of throw in little things. It was like, yeah, we ain't got time for these white men at Pride
Right.
being
Exactly.
extra. And I think somebody came and felt Ty up, and he was like, "It's okay, I'm gay." He's like, "No, it's not. I need you to, know your place. Just because it's Pride,
Right.
just because it's Pride Week, and I'm a female doesn't mean you have the right to, approach me that way." But
Hmm.
I just love the whole thing of just dealing with ups and downs. And I was kind of blindsided because I was like, this whole time I thought Quinn was just getting on my nerves, for getting on my nerves' sake and being overly emotional about her relationship. When low
Hmm.
key, it really had nothing to do with that. And we were seeing the beginning stages of depression. I was like, oh, how did you feel, D?
Hmm. Yeah, no, another curveball, and I didn't see us going in that direction either. And I figured there had to be layers to it, but just because there are potential layers to a character doesn't mean it's always going to get explored, and the
Yes.
writing doesn't always do that justice. So the fact that they went there, I appreciated it, because, like I said, there has to be more to a character than just them being an archetype and their personality reflecting one thing. And
Yes.
so getting into that, I appreciated and made me understand Quinn a lot more. And I'm glad because it's easy to make someone's relationship status a focal point, and we see that stuff all the time. And some of
Yes.
it, I mean, some of that happens, but there are so many other things that people can deal with that are outside of the parameters of a relationship. So I think that's something that was definitely necessary.
Yes, I just love all the mental, like, because
Hmm.
I know that the theme with Camille and her mother is more so avoidance, but something with Joa's character was also kind of mentally ill, like just
Hmm.
not only
Right.
being, avoiding things, but just being kind of in a state of being stuck in depression. And it's like
Hmm.
she was in a whole dimension of her creating something. And then we kind of get this peek into her maybe like low key being the strange cat lady on the street, like,
Hmm. Right.
and I was just really, surprised that it went there. And first of all, I was waiting to see like how hood they was gonna get with Camille going to get that birth certificate. I thought y'all was gonna lift up the mattress.
Oh no.
I thought she was gonna lift up that mattress, and say, that's what all the black mothers love to keep stuff. But it's like,
Exactly.
no, I may be all of these things, but I keep certain things close to my heart. But I was like, it's just really giving a peek into Camille's upbringing and why she is the way that she is. I was getting in my feelings, Dave.
Yeah.
But then when we got into just Quinn at all, like this entire time, I think we were taking on the bulk of Angie using Quinn for, everything.
Mhm.
But
Right.
then once we have Angie coming into her own, like we gonna get into Angie D because I'm all kinds of proud. Once we got into Angie coming into her own in episode 5, and it was just like, I'm gonna sublet an apartment, and I have some jobs coming in. I'm doing better, Quinn. This is what we always talked about. And Quinn's immediate thought, oh, so you gonna leave me? And
Mhm.
she instantly meets her with attitude. Not only are you gonna leave me, but you are consumed with this new man, Mike. And you're like, what do you mean? I was like, oh, you have been totally dependent upon Angie this entire time. This is a codependent relationship.
Mhm.
Dang, what were your thoughts?
Well, that definitely, and again, we're getting some some layers here because I like that it gave some legitimacy. Not saying that Angie didn't still need to get it together, but it
Oh,
gave some legitimacy as to why she was able to kind of continue in that situation because you are helping out, but there is that enabling part of yourself. And I'm not even saying that Quinn necessarily recognized that in herself, the fact that there was a codependency there, and you just become reliant on people and their presence and what it means to you. But then
Yeah.
once it's gone, it's like, oh wait, and now you realize it. And I think before it was like you need to be independent and you need to get out, but now that she's out, now you kind of realize what the significance of that really is.
Yes.
And I think I could see a little bit of selfishness there. Or once she
Oh,
realized that that was out the picture, I was like, oh, okay, Quinn.
it was so much, but even with the, and I love just from episode 5 all the way to 7. I love Angie's, because so much of their relationship has just been a sense of Angie using her. So just to
Right.
see her show up for her in so many ways in the few episodes that we did, I was like,
Mhm.
man, if y'all would have started, here, we wasted 4 episodes. Then
Right.
if we could have
Exactly.
started here and built up so many of these things that I love so much in these last 4 episodes, child, we could have went real far.
Mhm.
But I just love that she's like, you've been acting real weird. Even when we get into Ty, she is just really like, I don't want to say what's wrong with me. I don't want to talk to anybody. I just need somebody here. But
Mhm.
we have Angie, like, it's all about her just kind of coming into her own. It's just like, I actually like this guy. I don't want to be waited by the phone. Heifer. Like, I can't just be waiting by this phone for Mike. That's not who I am. I'm Angie. But
Mhm.
just to kind of see the growth and like revelation in her to go, like, I want him to call me. Like, I want return business. I want to spend more time with this man.
Mhm. Right.
And that child, that whole like when one black person run, all black people run, that that took
I
me
was done.
out. That took me out. It had me thinking of Cedric, like, one, when we stop running, then we'll figure out what we were running for. But you running, we all running. But her just really
Yes.
waiting on that phone call and just really like getting to Mike. Like, how do you feel about Mike? Because I love that she's getting this. But I was like, if we could have built up this from episode 1, like we have an overnight like glow up as far as Angie is concerned. And I really felt like we could have been there long before.
Yeah, that's my issue. It's like you can't. And like I said, I don't know what the structure of this was, and I'm wondering because this season was 8 episodes instead of 10, so I'm wondering if
Yeah.
that also threw things off.
Hmm.
But I think that we need. I know slow development is not always fun to see, but I think we needed to at least start before now, or see kind of like the small little pieces here and there of her building things up and her developing more, because it does feel like a kind of more of a 180. And of
Yeah.
course, like we like it because I mean it's nice to see, but I'm like, can we see some like the baby steps and the slow progression? So that's the only thing that makes it awkward because like this is interesting seeing her in this relationship, and um he does seem like an interesting guy, but it's like we don't know that much about him. We don't know.
Yes.
I mean, we know a little bit, but we don't know that much about him. We're not seeing as
Wait,
much of the
D.
journey with
I
her.
don't
So,
want to be rude, D, but
uh,
while we on mic, like that Negro spiritual haircut just does
oh
something to my
god,
spirit. It does something to my spirit, D. I mean, I'm all for. I don't know. It's something about Mike and that haircut. Like, it just bothers me. Like, I be trying to get into Mike, but I be looking at the top of Mike's. I am so sorry. Like, it just looks real, roots first generation. And it's not even the stylist because I'm all for, some kinks and some good coiled hair. It's the
right.
cut. It's like giving Yuzza Boss. I don't know, but keep going, D. I have to say sorry.
No, you good because no, Mike has been getting dragged. Mike and his hair, his follicles have been getting dragged online. So I suppose somebody had to say it. Yeah, it was definitely giving Frederick Douglass. So I mean, I can't really.
It's not just me. Because we hadn't spoken on it this entire time. I was just trying to get into Mike as a person. He is a lovely person, great man. Getting
Mhm,
Angie out of her comfort zone, like I absolutely love it.
mhm.
But I even saw that change in Angie because right here, I think this clip here of this gift, this is her trying to get into her. I think he's like, is he pants? He's open. He goes,
Right,
both ways, and she was trying to break in, like, what's up? And now this episode, he's like, well, hey, we could have sex, past the time. It's just like, no, you're getting into Angie feeling like if you are not Mike, I don't think I want you inside my body. I was like,
right.
won't he do it? Won't he freaking do it? Now
Yes.
we also get a little bit ties. I think we get more of Ty in the next episode, but we have her. She is starting to confide in Amy a little bit more than just, girl, this plant died. And
Mhm.
we found out that Amy, she has a divorce and she has a daughter. And it's just like, oh, Amy's cool. She's good people. And we have Ty still kind of dealing with this divorce. And we get more into that in the next episode. But, child, we're gonna go jump on over into the next episode because it was just so much happening. D, I was like, what where we found this at? Like,
Right.
where were y'all hiding this? And wait, we left out Camille. Camille is linking up with Jameson, where he's just popped up at her job. Like, girl, first of all, she gonna quit treating. Let me find Camille's ass. She gonna quit treating Jameson like like what little ugly guy buy you a drink in the club and he's following you around like, oh, like I'm good. Like, she is treating Jameson like something at the bottom of her shoe. It's just like, I'm ignoring you. What? I didn't ignore your calls. I wouldn't. She's like, no, child, I ain't even checking for that. We have a grant. I'm here
Right.
for business. You're looking for a new job in these prospects and whatnot, and we kind of have her kind of telling him no, and still kind of keeping more information from Ian. Not only am I having a situation with my ex and whatnot, but my ex came up to my job and presented a grant, and she does not say anything about it. And we see this come back to kind of bite her next episode, because episode 7, I just would love to know how you felt about the Ian and Jameson link up and just the chillness of it all. Like, how did you feel about Jameson and Ian linking up?
I mean, I suppose. I mean, I figured it was going to happen at some point, so so it had to happen, somewhere. We had to see it. So I will say, at first, Ian was working my nerves because it was just one of those like, yeah, man, she chose me, and you need to deal with it, and we're solid. And I'm like, you're doing all of this, but my thing is, and I think we all know this. I'm like, the more you're asserting yourself as far as your relationship and not being insecure is more evident that you
Yeah.
are, like, when you do all of this. So I was kind of annoyed at first. But then Jameson kind of brought it right back,
Yeah.
and was challenging all of that. So I kind of liked that there was a resolution. I didn't think it was going to be some big fight because that didn't seem like the vibe, but I was hoping it wasn't going to be that kind of melodramatic extra stuff.
Yeah.
And so I like that they were able to deal with the situation, as awkward as it was for them. But I I I kind of thought that they were going to bring. I don't know. I thought they were going to tie in that whole thing with Camille falling asleep a certain
Mhm.
way, and they
Yeah.
didn't quite do that. Which, not to say it was necessary, but I kind of thought that was going to happen. And then, of course, the whole pride thing was kind of the cherry on top. So it was just like,
I was like, I kind of like the fact because I didn't know where they were going. Like you said, Ian rolled up like, I'm the chosen one. Like, back off. He's like, sir, ain't nobody thinking about you.
right,
I was kind of glad Jameson called him out, like, oh, she met with me, like we've talked. I came up, like, but yet again, I know something that you don't. She is still keeping information from you. So how good could your little relationship be? But first of
Mhm,
all, I'm not here for that. I am here. I am about business and about money. I like
mhm,
that it didn't become, some penis slinging match, and they were just chilling, and they ended up like pounding it out like a couple of
right.
episodes. Let's just like, what's up? You had, I had, too. It's cool.
Oh my god.
It was giving color purple. Like, you had a your way and I had a mine. Da 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 da.
Oh,
But I I'm all for maturity, but
right.
I was like, I don't know if I will be capable of, baby, I know this was your man in all this, but y'all not together anymore. But this is about business and opportunity for your growth and work. I'm gonna allow you to, me to be comfortable for you to, work with him.
Mhm,
I was like, that's such a slippery slope. Like,
mhm.
I couldn't do it, D. What about you? Could you let your significant other just go off and work with their ex, in their home? I was like, y'all couldn't meet nowhere else, Camille. That's how you wound up in that bed.
Right, like, because I'm like, we can't. There's a library nowhere nearby. Like, yeah. I'm and I don't want to make it seem like if you feel this way, then it just means you're insecure, but it would
Yeah,
raise a red flag for me just a little bit. It's just
absolutely.
like, why in such an intimate space? And I understand we talk about having trust in your partner, and I get that, but it just doesn't make sense to have that kind of environment and setup for anything to potentially happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know, like, because Camille gets upset. They're both upset in the scene because he's like, "You're lying to me. I was just talking about meeting up with Jameson, and now you are telling me about you maybe not being able to have children, and you're scared." Like, I just love when Ian said, "Like, I could have helped you. I could have been here for you. I could have supported you." I was like, "Yes, Ian." Like, oh,
Right.
like Camille has some really good men in her corner, and I feel like she is just so undeserving, child. Like,
Right.
Camille is not a good partner.
She's
Camille is
not.
in no way a good partner. She is consistently lying, deflecting, and avoiding everything. Like, I don't see it, child. But I did say, I remember saying, I think when we first reviewed the show and she broke it off with Jameson, that I felt like Jameson was the better pick for her, in my opinion.
Mhm.
And she was just going back to Ian because, it was long lost love and something that was familiar. And I think we see that happening within the show and everything. But, child, we got to get into Ty. Like, Ty and this husband and this, I think it was $1.4 million of money. Like, episode 5, we have her just really ready to jump ship on her whole, like, everything, your apps, things that you have done with people. Like, I just need to stop all my income coming in. I don't want him to get anything else. But she doesn't, and she perseveres. But $1.4 million, D, I was like, damn, for nothing. That was that was so crazy. But I love the revelation that she has here in this episode, because she thinks that having a partner and this, that, and the third is on the boring side. But we see, even though you could be living your best life, having a galore of women everywhere, when you needed somebody to give you that shot, everybody called Ghost.
Right.
How did you feel about her giving that $1.4 million away?
It was pretty painful. I must admit, my stomach was hurting when I saw her hand over that check. I was like, oh no. And I mean, granted, clearly Ty is paid. So
Yeah.
I'm not saying, obviously didn't make a huge dent, but still that's like a
Whew.
massive amount that you've worked for and built up, and this person can just grab it and go. So yeah, so that was a tough one to watch, and I was kind of surprised. I mean, I know why she did it, but I kind of thought there was going to be some kind of, I don't know. I thought she was going to maybe turn the tables in some kind of way, and or find something out and
Mhm.
throw something in his face to possibly not have to pay. But then I guess
Yeah.
she just figured, whatever, let's just get this over with.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then the whole, it's so funny. It's weird. Like, this is like the third time. This might be the third or fourth time that recently that I've seen someone doing the shots with the whole.
Mhm.
Was it IVF or was it something else?
I believe it was IBF.
Yeah, IVF. Yeah, but I've seen like a couple reality shows. Like, it's been very recent, within like the past few weeks. I see
Yeah.
that, and I'm reminded, even though like someone can give me a shot, but I know that I can't give myself a shot, and I don't know why that is, but I guess because I don't trust my own skills, and if something goes wrong, then it's a wrap.
Mhm.
But yeah, but when she was just like
Yeah,
trying to, I
like,
was
do
like,
it. You did it. Nah, girl,
yeah,
you just can't. But that's,
mhm,
those perks of, you can give your body to multiple people and y'all can have the
mhm,
best time ever. But when you actually needed someone, there was just no, like, girl, what? Everybody was gone. Like, I was like, how many people you gonna have come out of this house?
right,
But I kind of I knew once he, got the check and he was just looking like, you have $1.4 million and you are still sitting like, can I talk to you? She's like, no, this whole thing, like, we went to bat just for you to get attention from me. Like, he just wanted the spotlight just to speak with her. And I was like, I really wish I had went back to season 1 just to see how she kind of handled him, because I do think he was kind of, when he first was like, I'm going to take you to court, because she suggested, like, okay, what are you here? You're here for, you must be here for money. I can pay you out and you could be on your way. And then he kind of progressed into what it was now. But this was all just a stage for, I want you to see me and, talk to me. You were someone that I was married to. I loved you at one point. And low key, he has not gotten over her. And they have this whole, I thought about you as soon as he ripped up that check. I was like, oh, D, they ripping up a check again. as soon as he ripped up that check, and it was just like, I just this isn't about that. Like, I'm proud of you. I just wanted you to know that I love you. This has been hard for me. Like, how did you feel about their exchange and him in the end being the one who was close enough to her to care enough to give her that shot?
Right. I figured we had to circle back somehow. I would have liked to have seen, I don't know, like for some reason, it feels like, I mean, when I say missing something, like we obviously get what the context of their relationship is, but I still wanted to see like one flashback or some kind of conversation where we like really understood what the dynamics of that relationship was and what really changed. Like it just seemed like there's something like missing. It's like,
Missing.
yeah. So that's what kind of made it feel kind of empty because it's like, yes, I kind of figured that in some way things will resolve themselves, but I also don't know what the bigger conflict is between them.
Yes.
So I mean, we saw the one flashback last season, but I just felt like I needed it a bit more. So yes, it's cool to see them reunite, but like we needed to fill in some gaps. I thought.
Child, we could say that for everybody. Like, and sadly, I think that's the only closure that we're gonna get on the end with that. And I'm glad, I'm first of all, I'm glad he gave her money back because child, she's worked, really hard for that money, and just to have her contemplating her business and the whole pride and the apps, like, girl, don't do this to yourself. But I like, that even though I wanted more, like I was. I think we got something in season 1, a flashback where we physically saw her,
Mm-hmm.
I guess, kind of leave him. And I guess she just
Yeah.
kind of went MIA and kind of disappeared. So that would
Right.
really, hurt anybody. But it wouldn't hurt for us to go back a little bit more.
Right.
But let me get into Angie. Like, I'm so proud of Angie. I am so freaking proud of Angie. I'm just gonna put this one up here, and we just gonna pause this right here because I ain't see it for Angie. I did not see it for Angie D. I thought that what they were giving us with Angie was gonna be it. Angie has made all kind of leaps and bounds overnight. And we're going on this journey of her just realizing just how much she likes Mike. Like, Mike showing up on set. And I love when he shows up on set and she's like, I got a little break or whatever. Like, we could go have sex. And he's like, no. And she's, oh, what's wrong with you? You don't want to immediately have sex? I'm like, no, I want to invite you to my birthday party so I can show you off. He is looking at her as a prospect to be, his woman, his girlfriend. And she's like, oh, like, for real? Me? Like, yes, girl. Like, yes, like I would love to, but just even getting, I love the little cameo we got from Countess Vaughn. When we get into, what am I supposed to do with your hair? Like, oh, girl, you funny. You thought I could do something with your texture of hair. It made me think about all the, the black select, especially when we get into Cat Grant from Vampire's Diary. Like, it just, how insignificant it made her feel, and her just feeling like really smited at, I can be here, a part of production. I'm delivering the same lines, working just as hard. But when it comes to my appearance, maybe even my makeup and my hair, I'm left to have to do it by myself. Terrible. How did you feel, Dee?
Yeah. Again, some more unexpected. I want to say, like, when it comes to, and I think we've discussed this before, like it's tough to make commentary work in a show in a way that doesn't feel, I don't know, like one dimensional, or it doesn't feel like
Yeah.
it's hitting you over the head or kind of like shoving it in there. But I feel like with how they've been tackling some of this, it hasn't necessarily felt reductive or one dimensional or just kind of like we're just tossing it in there. Like it felt like there was some care being given, and they are touching on real issues. Because like you said, the whole Cat Graham thing, the whole thing with her hair and all that, like, and then some of the the mental illness and depression, like some of the things that were talked about, it didn't feel. I don't know. It just didn't feel thrown in there, and I was grateful for that because that can really take the importance and kind of the weight out of moments like that. So I appreciated that a lot. And as far as Michael and Angie, like it's nice to see the progression there. And
Rom-com, D.
yes, exactly. It took a minute to get there, but yes, it's like, look, we can have, and I even feel that way in general. It's just like with any relationship, I mean, romantic or otherwise, like there are so many different levels to how you can show love and care for a person. And so, for that to kind of be the go-to, I was like, okay, writers, what's going on here? So it's nice to see the other side of that.
Yeah, Yeah, I loved it. I was like, oh, he committed, committed. Like she is just feeling really hurt at the fact, as she should, like the disrespect and the microaggressions of it all. That, but like that lady really was like, oh, girl, you serious? You thought I could do your hair, girl? I love when Countess says, like, you're gonna have to do what all the other black women do. You gotta do it yourself.
Right.
But this
Exactly.
caused her to just be like, you know what? I just can't do a birthday party. I'm so sorry. Mike
Mm,
leaves. His own birthday comes like real rom com Romeo and Juliet style. I was like,
mhm.
oh, we didn't got real because half of Angie, they try to give it a sense of realness in these shows. Like, oh, I'm a mess. Like, girl, you look good. Like, girl,
Right.
I know what a mess looks like, Angie, and it's not, half of your hair not being twisted, but okay. Like, first of all, Angie in that, like, I was loving the realisticness of I need to learn her best friend's name at this point. His apartment and how small it is.
Oh
Like
yeah.
because
Yes.
everybody else is living their best brownstone, New York City high rise life. And he's like, oh
Mhm.
no, baby, I'm a struggling actor. Like this is about it. And she's like, okay, I have too much ass for this apartment.
Right.
But him just, putting forth that effort, he was like, I look terrible. She's like, no, 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 don't talk about my girlfriend like that. He's like, my girlfriend, me? Like, yes, Angie, he likes you. But just that progress of her just really like having a boyfriend. I was like, I was just giving up on Angie a couple of seconds ago and what the writers were
Mhm.
going to do with her. So that was really really nice to see. And then we have this full circle moment with Quinn and her really like losing it. This was the definite episode. Episode 6, I was like, okay, Quinn is really depressed. We have that montage of her just shouting, Quinn, Google what's wrong with me. I felt it in my spirit.
Oh yeah.
I felt that all up and through my spirit. You hit the Google, like, what's wrong with me? Like, and I was like, we missed all. I was like, the writers did good with Quinn here because
Mm,
with them focusing so much on Isabella and us worrying about that, we were missing the signs that that Quinn is depressed. The same way that you might miss them for yourself or an additional family member. And it's just like
mhm.
you have all of these things. You are wealthy, you're beautiful, you're successful. Why aren't you happy? Like Quinn is first of all, she did a Solange on the Vogue team freaking elevator. Like she's just slowly losing it. But we have her trying to put it up. Speaking of that freaking pride, like the fact that Queen's mama was out there handing out hugs, she was like me. She was like, I'll hug you next week. Like, and I think
Right.
that's an attachment to her just being emotionally unavailable for Quinn. Like that has something to do with that too. We see the friction in their relationship a whole lot. Like they brought Jasmine Guy's character full circle and everything. I was like,
Mhm.
shredded. Who wrote this part of the show and who wrote the other half? Like,
Right.
I really want to know. But when we have that montage and the shower running, and she's like, it's affecting her business, and she tells the white, like, do I really need to fit you? Do I really need to sell you anything? Like, I'm like, okay, now she is affecting the money and her, her name and her business. It's not just Vogue. Like, Quinn is depressed. Like, I never thought that we would end up with Quinn being depressed. I thought this was from her just stemming. Why can't I be happy? Why doesn't anybody love me? Relationship Quinn. She is going through a deep depression. How did you feel?
Yeah, I thought it was a really surprising pivot. Like I said, there are so many ways. Well, I'll say this: there are a lot of wrong ways to kind of depict depression, and I know that because I've had that experience, and so I know what that can be like from the outside looking in. And there are so many like highs and lows and in betweens that go into that, and it's hard to make sense of that when you're in it. It's hard for people to make sense of it, on the outside looking in. Like I said, so I like the fact that they, even with what you said about the whole thing with her mom, because I didn't see that coming either. Like one, her being there and giving out hugs, but then we flip to like, oh no, we don't do that. And it's like, oh, okay, here's another piece of the puzzle there. And then I felt like we kept going from there. But it was good to see another side of this character, and I kind of it's. I think we know that when it comes to kind of like those perfect put together characters, there's always
Underlining.
flaws and deeper issues there that we haven't gotten, underneath, that surface to really break out of and understand. So I like that they did that. It's kind of like the same thing with Molly, where Molly needed therapy bad,
Yes.
but she wasn't recognizing it. Same thing. Yeah.
Yes, I just love the just her kind of finding like once she told that customer to get out, I'm like, okay, it's affecting your livelihood, your relationships, your business. Quinn needs help. And she kind of had to have a moment of acceptance and kind of reach out. Like when she had those little surreal moments of just time moving and she's just sitting still and just depressed, I was like, oh, don't do me, Harlem.
Right. Right.
Don't do this. But I just loved everybody completely dropping everything to be there for her. Like,
Yes.
oh, like I hate these shows because it just reminds you. I'm like, I don't have these kind of friends. Like,
Right. Right.
you have a selected few, but just it is really hard to find friends that will just drop everything. Like, girl, I will be there. Speaking of
Yes.
girl, I will be there. Camille couldn't make it. Camille made her way to Jameson's house, and it's just like, you know what? This is for my career and all of this other good stuff. Like, I didn't even really like the fact that she was giving Ian, like, she kind of flipped it on Ian, like, oh, y'all made a decision for me, and I was like, girl, I was like, I thought it was cute.
Right.
I thought it was cute. Not saying that they're trying to boss you around, but the fact that they could, find common ground and go, if this is for the betterment of Camille, somebody that we both care about, especially you, being my woman, I'm letting you know it's okay. After all, you were hiding it from me, I would think, because you thought I would have a problem with it. Even though I wouldn't have did a child. Now, get away from my woman. Um, she goes and it's first of all it's very evident that Jameson still wants to be with her, so that's already a problem in itself. But they try to do this little thing. I was like, y'all gotta be quicker than that dealing with me. They tried to set it up
Mhm.
that she sleeps with Jameson, and we have her wake up and it's just like, oh Lord, I came here for our thesis and our project, and now I done slept with Jameson. What about my relationship with Ian? I was like, okay, you know what? By the time we got to episode 7 and we got deeper into those flashbacks, like, I have watched enough TVD. When you have, I just got it in and cheated on my man flashbacks, it don't look like that.
No.
We rubbing hands and shoulders, not at one. We didn't see two pumps. We didn't see nothing. Like, we in no way saw anything sexual. Like, the fact that I just couldn't get over how, not to say that it was okay, because if you are in a committed relationship, as you are jeopardizing your relationship with Ian by sleeping in the bed with your ex. But even the fact that she thought it was okay, like, let's take a power nap. I was like, what?
Right.
Let's just go. What are you talking about? Like we've been going at it for a minute. Let's take a, and we, episode 7, we get into them kind of laughing at her because once we have all the girls come together, episode 6, it's like we need to go to Puerto Rico and, kind of take a break, take a breather. This is prior to them really getting to the nitty gritty of, what, I'm depressed. I need a little bit more than a vacation. I need help. I might need medication. But the first time they went, it was because she is a self-proclaimed, like, she's a self-sabotager. She's always, ruining something. So I guess it would make sense in her mind to feel like, oh, it's okay for me to, let's take a power nap in the bed together. Girl, no. But
No.
once we even, let me even put this on here, because when I tell you I was all here for the whole, like, oh, we supporting Quinn. I loved all of them showing up, and it was Puerto Rico this. But when they have to write in, because episode 7, I was like, no, y'all not gonna do this. I was just proud of Angie. Now y'all gonna take it back. Episode 7, once we open with them packing for Quinn, and it is just like, oh, you guys, last time I was in Puerto Rico and I had sex with all those fine poppies, and I caught some STDs, but not none of the bad ones. I was like, oh, why? Why must we do this with Angie? Once it became, a Issa moment, like, I'm trying to have my rotation. I need my last hurrah. Like, I'm liking him too much. I was like, damn. We as soon as we got here, y'all snatched it back. Like, I was really like digging Angie in that moment as a friend with Quinn, because she could peep. You can tell that, of course, they live together. They're more close than they're like your Joan and your Tony.
Right.
They're a little bit more close. So when she's going, that's the first time we hear the mention of medication. and Quinn deciding, girl, I don't need that. This is, the trip is going to be enough. And you see Angie's just kind of giving a little pushback, like, I really don't think so. And of course, we have her in the end call her mother. But when they started playing tug of war with Angie's character a little bit in the beginning of the girls trip, I had a little moment. D, how were you feeling about Angie not getting none of the bad STDs from all the Puerto Rican poppies? How you felt?
So here's the thing, like we've had this ongoing discussion as far as how Angie is portrayed and how off-putting it is, and I think there's a disparity, and I could be wrong, but I even feel like if you compare Angie to Samantha on Sex and the City, or even Lynn on Girlfriends, it seems like Angie's character is a lot more boxed in, and she's not given, even if you want to say that those other two characters are maybe I just felt like there was more dimension to those characters, even
Yeah.
though they liked, they were free spirit, they liked to, get it in if they wanted to, but it just feels like something about the way they do Angie is so like so limited and so boxed in. And I was fine to see the progression, and it's fine to maybe remark on what you've done in the past. But I felt like specifically this episode, it was just like, we're gonna hit us over the head with every single sexual line. I mean, even let's just say I had never had a problem with it before, or it kind of been like, oh, it's not that big a deal. It just felt like somebody in the writer's room was just like, we're gonna throw out every possible hypersexual, line and delivery. I was just kind of like, I mean, it was almost felt like a running joke. Like, are we going? Is she gonna say anything that's not sex related? It was weird, really weird.
I mean, to their credit, it was mild credit. They did. It was kind of her being self-conflicted. We of
Right.
course find out later that she's just maybe feeling like, am I deserve like I don't maybe I don't want to be this girl. Like, I am Angie. Her sexuality and her being promiscuous is who she is. And I don't
Right.
think we just we don't give her enough credit and consider that part. Yeah. But it's a credit. It's a part of their writing and how they present it to us as an audience. But it's
Exactly.
okay. A lot of people are really fluid and open with their sexuality.
Yeah.
But the other shortcomings that they surround Angie with, it just makes it just a bad look, in my opinion. But
Yeah.
I thought that they were going to revert back to, and I was like, oh, I'm
Right.
just really not here for that. But she is just completely dumbfounded. Like, it's just so much penis going to waste on this beach. Like, what am I supposed to do? But when she has the revelation of, I had the opportunity to get so much from so many men, and they're dropping pants, and it's not Mike. I think I just want to be with Mike. And I was like, look at this. Now, when Angie freaking first of all, she's always looking for reception. Like, when she just was like, you know what, I'm not doing this. I'm gonna, go with the flow. Even though I needed a whole ride and a hotation, maybe not. Maybe I am built, to be in a committed relationship with Mike. And child, she's on that roof looking for reception. Thought she was gonna give a little peekaboo, and that freaking helicopter came out. I fell out. I fell the freak out. But not even that. I just love I love Camille's energy in the club. We ain't going nowhere alone. It's a black girl. I put an APB out on you, girl. Like, you were missing for far too long, in my opinion. We not going to the bathroom alone. We not leaving the club alone. We not none of that. We need to all
Right.
stay together. Like, I just love Camille's, because that's like so true. It's even I think it's a small scene of them ordering drinks, and she's like collecting them. Like, I'm gonna put them all here because
Mhm.
we are trying to be safe. But the most thing that I felt like we got into on this trip, I don't think it was a whole lot with Camille, because she's dealing with, her indiscretion. I was like, Camilla's supposed to be our lead. I need y'all to write Homegirl a little better than this.
Yeah.
But she is kind of consuming herself with work and just trying to avoid all of that. And we have Ty. Ty is trying to recapture her glory days. Like, I'm trying to be the old bitch in the club at this moment. Like,
Ooh.
I love all of that. Like, we aren't, those young 20 somethings anymore. Girl, I can't have that on my stomach. Taking that, like, I'll walk down the whole hot beach for these hot shots. Girl, don't drink that. Our stomach can't take
Right.
anymore. Like, you Ty buying sugar,
Mhm.
trying to find some coke. When somebody hit you with, ma'am, you too old for that. Ma'am, please stop. I was like, all right. They didn't hit you with the ma'am tie. Like you don't need to recapture anything. But how what was your whole thought on Ty and just Camille's energy on the trip?
Um, and maybe I don't know if it's because of you, because I think I recognize that I don't know. I don't even know I can't even fully say what my perception of Camille was before, but I think maybe through our discussions, I kind of realized maybe it's because of the writing, but she's a very obnoxious character. And so, like, there are just moments when she says stuff, or just kind of like with her expression and stuff, I'm like, like, I understand what this character is supposed to represent, but it's like, it's sometimes hard to really, I don't want to say empathize, but it's hard to kind of connect to her character sometimes because
Yeah.
just the way she is and the way she interacts and some of that stuff is so. It's almost, I don't know if the word is paranoid or just she's over dramatic or what it is, but yeah, some of that doesn't vibe with me. Although, like I said, certain aspects of her experience I get,
Mm.
and I try to leave some grace for that. But as far as Ty, I thought that was hilarious, especially when she got dragged across the beach.
Bro, you fractured your own whole arm trying to recapture your young days. Like, girl,
Mhm.
I love that part of just aging and accepting that,
Yes.
some of that stuff we can't do no more. Like, child, it's just 9:30. We in this club. I'm ready to go home and lay down.
Right.
I'm ready to go. I had to realize because I've never just been. That's just not me. But even now, like certain times, like, so girl, you trying to my significant other, the Jamaican, oh yeah, it's gonna pop up 4, 6 o'clock in the morning. Like, I can't do that. My milk can be out past 1. Like,
Right.
tired. But we also see her. I love Amy and her old ass Dell desk computer top. Like, girl, what is that? Is that an Apple? What is that? But her just calling to confiding her, and that just kind of lifted her spirits because, as she said, like, I've been humbled. I realized, we just, we're not this young anymore, but just being humbled and just seeing how, I guess, mature the women are in comparison to how they were when they first got there. But yeah, Camille, I wish they would have dug more into her relationship with her mother because that seems to be, where it really, most of her problematic features stem from. And I think that would have, brought Camille's character full circle. But
Right.
since they didn't, and it's just kind of like, but once we got into more of, just Angie in a relationship, and me thinking that we were going to revert back to, older Angie and just strip away what I was so proud of her for, because even at this point, like, she's not even in her relationship, she's being successful within her job. Like,
Right.
yes, Angie girl, I'm here for all of that. Once we got into Quinn and her real life husband popping
Yes.
up to be an instant love interest, and we got that, what was it, Queef, look, Queef is out, and it was just instant, like, oh, I'm happy. I'm okay now. And I was like, oh, don't do this. Don't do this. How did you feel when Keith popped up, Grace's actual husband?
Right. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. I started laughing, but not in a bad way. It was just kind of like, no, like, no, she didn't call up production and say like, hey, can we bring my husband on set? Like, yeah, I thought that was actually really funny. Especially, the whole Empire backstory and their actual relationship. So it was really, it was cool, but it was funny just seeing them interact and so on and so forth. But I had the same worry. It's like, oh, now we're going to brush past all the issues, and I'm happy to be in a relationship again, and we've learned nothing. And then I was also worried that there was going to be some kind of, I don't know, something wrong with his
Wrong with
character.
him.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
he on
like,
vacation and his woman at, another destination somewhere. Like,
right, and it was going to take her. I thought it was going to take that situation blowing up in her face to kind of like come to terms with the situation,
mhm.
but they didn't do that, and I'm actually glad because it kind of showed like she could kind of come to terms with certain things without it having to be this extreme. Like it doesn't have to require. Sometimes you understand what decisions you have to make about yourself and about your life, even if there's something very ideal and very, for the most part, beneficial there right in front of you. Actually, it made her choice all the more resonant because it's like it's easy to walk away from something bad, but it's harder to walk away from something that, for the most part, looks good and is
Yeah,
good for
it
you.
is good, child. This is her ex. like high school or college sweetheart, and she
Mhm.
just felt like for whatever. I'm like, girl, you burnt this out for the opportunity. Well, I just thought, maybe I needed a little bit more experience, or maybe I would find somebody else, or
Mhm.
it's just the process of being in a real life adult relationship. I'm not supposed to be here with my sweetheart from college when they are
Mhm.
like super duper compatible from what we could see them in their, I think it was jilted Olympics. Like, oh, y'all so sad.
Right.
But it was just instantly turning back into them kind of falling into, I guess, their bad habits. Ty's running off, child, trying to recapture the glory days. Camille is
Mhm.
completely diving into her work and drinking to avoid the subject matter of being in the bed with Jameson, child. And then Angie is like the only one, like, and we gonna get into Angie dropping science and knowledge and the conversation with Camille. I was like, what? Wait, I've been just sitting on this. But I love this comment. Shanice says, like, why rush home and take a shower? Like, I wasn't gonna even skip past that, Shanice. That was such a lazy writing choice. Like, Shanice, they were really trying to play on our intentions. Like, I gotta wash this freak nasty off before I even go talk to Ian because I slept with Jameson. Like, I knew for whatever reason. And that's just really, I think that's poor execution or poor writing or poor flashbacks, poor something, because it was an easy setup for us to be like, wow, she slept with Jameson. Like, what about? And but just something told me like, oh, it
Yeah.
didn't happen.
Yeah, no, for me, and granted, it could have, I mean, it could have easily been this, but for whatever reason, when I saw like Jameson pulled up with the covers like over his
Yes.
whole body, I was just like, this does not look
Yeah.
like someone who's just gotten it in and is knocked out. Like, there's just a certain positioning to your, like, there's a certain something at the way,
Yeah.
as far as how that would look, like you said. And so when I saw him like this, I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's not the case. And then I kind of figured out,
Yes.
I figured out, yeah, yeah, right. I figured that
The
out
freaking
too. So
top.
yeah.
As soon as she got there and she, took off the jacket and I saw the top, like, because as I said, for so long, we've been paying attention to the background and the clothes and not so much of what's, going on surrounded. And I saw it, I was like, and we were sure to put the covers here and they weren't, in some indecent position. It was just like, oh, Lord. I was like, all right, y'all tried it. What's up? What's next?
Right.
But I love the whole revelation of her kind of changing her thesis and her project, and just feeling like, why am I investing or just talking about doing a project over mothers? I'm not a mother. I'm, kind of doing something that I have no correlation to. First of all, the whole vacation was beautiful. I was like, man, I need a vacation, dear.
Yes,
It was so
absolutely.
beautiful. All the colors were like extra vibrant. It was just really, really nice to look at. But once we oh child, before we get to them walking backwards into that water, Angie calls Quinn's mother, like, you know what? I know something's up. I know something's wrong. You ain't gonna listen to us, you're gonna listen to your mama.
Mhm.
You
Yes.
are going to listen to your mother. And I was like, y'all could have been like fleshed out them at this point and like really made us really invested in the show. With the way that streaming and everything works today, you don't have, 4 and 5 episodes these days to waste time. People will click off. Like,
Yeah.
people
Right.
will click off. But when we have her mother, in a sense, like finally show up for her, and it's this whole thing of her just calling out how she's feeling before she could even say it. It's just like, your father and his father before him, they have these same symptoms. They are, dealing with depression, always have. And like, well, okay, why I don't know about this?
Mhm.
Why aren't we talking about this as a family? Because of course, even with Quinn in the beginning with the medication and just black families, a lot of the time overall, it is considered, it's just bad. It's wrong in so many eyes. To, oh, you're going to subject yourself to medication. It's like admitting defeat and admitting I'm crazy. And we see, of course, just like with Camille, the sins of the mother and the father is trickled down. And like, I have been dealing with not knowing what's wrong with me or feeling some type of way, when all this time you have been sitting on the fact that my father has been dealing with depression this entire time. How'd you feel?
Yeah. No, like I totally agree. It's like you have all these opportunities and we just spend them on like filler stuff. It's just like you have the bones and you have the meat even to really dig deeper. And I'm not saying that has to be some I don't know, super dramatic, depressing scene, but like give us like help us understand these characters, help us understand their motivations, help us understand like where they come from and like why they are the way they are. And so with Quinn and her mother, that's a huge piece of the puzzle. Or even
Yeah,
if you want to throw in Quinn and her dad, that's also a piece of the puzzle. And
that's
so my thing
man.
is,
Oh, D, I really thought we were gonna have scenes. I ain't gonna interrupt you again. I thought we were gonna have a
mhm,
scene of her talking to her dad. Like I was really
mhm,
waiting for that.
mhm.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like they brought Rick Fox in for like one day of shooting. They're like, okay, Rick, thank you so much. You're out. Like but yeah, I think my thing is we could be getting those kinds of scenes rather than having these weird scenes where Angie is the surrogate child to Ian and Camille and drinking juice boxes and eating sandwiches. Like it's like you could be doing more. Like
Say
let's
nobody
not.
won't Ian. Yeah, that was just such a moment. Like I love the things that they are bringing up. Like I really feel like those 4 episodes were just a complete like low key waste of time and invested us. Like there
Yeah.
was a certain way they had enough of the arcs of kind of, I guess, something like Angie being a leech, or not really finding her footing in life with her career, or just different sentiments of who these women are. That was established like first season. So this
Mhm.
season it could have been, you know what, we can't go back. We
Mhm.
cannot go back. But we do have the women just decide, which I love. I was like, this vacation here is very Sex in the City. But
Mhm. Right.
when we have Camille just feel like, you know what, we just need to wash and start anew. Like they are completely like in a realm of acceptance in different parts of their life. After she has that conversation with her mother, she's like, you know what, I am feeling a little better, and I do know now that it is okay for me to ask for help, lean on people, maybe go to therapy and take medication regularly. It's okay. Acceptance there. We have, Ty accept that running around asking for coke. Like I was like,
Mhm.
just a hot mess. She accepts that, hey, I'm older, we're changing, and it's okay. Then you have Camille and this conversation with Angie, and I was like, really? Angie was dropping knowledge, like all of this, all these revelations for her and Camille being not too, different. Maybe, you are a self sabotager, or, the whole avoidance, the same way I might be trying to, have sex with these men on these islands because I feel like I maybe don't deserve a relationship and I'm trying to sabotage what I have with Mike. And I was like, oh, we a holder now? We
Mhm.
are a full holder. Like, how did you feel about Angie? Because I was so surprised, D. Like, how were you feeling?
Yeah, I didn't see it coming, and the thing is, you have a lot of characters on not even just this show, but you have a lot of characters on certain shows where their goal, I mean their role, excuse me, their role, and then kind of the main goal of the character is just to kind of be the kind of the loud, funny, over the top, obnoxious one,
Yeah.
and rarely do they deviate away from that. You may have some moments here or there, but a lot of times they kind of stay stuck there.
Mm.
And so with the way the season has gone, I've kind of become accustomed to that. So it's kind of like Angie serves this role. Angie's going to say, I mean, some of the stuff is funny, so I'm not mad at that. But it's just kind of like, even just kind of the way she speaks and the way she is, we've gotten used to that. And it was crazy because not only was she dropping all the facts, even the way she talked sounded different. Because you
Mm.
know that Angie kind of talks with that, the really interesting
Yeah.
voice like this. And, you know, and it was no affectations, it was no, like, it
No.
wasn't anything extra. She was just like, this is what it is. And like, and I love that because I love kind of a real talk relation, excuse me, a real talk conversation with friends. Those have been
Yes.
some of the most impactful times of my life. And it just is something about how you walk away from those moments and how you're able to kind of hear something real from your good friend. So yeah, I was here for it.
I'm looking at this chat. Not y'all trying to drop my little bombs before I could say them. Like, don't be putting this in the chat. I know. Like, I was so waiting to use this for our episode 8 when we get into who may be pregnant. Grace is actually pregnant in real life, and I was just so. I wanted to know if they were going to maybe like use that for the storyline. Like, y'all, ooh, y'all make me sick. Don't be doing
Right.
that. But I love full circle, like in depth Angie. I'll take that over the Angie that we have got. I not even that, because the core of who Angie is still there, but
Right.
it just shows a little bit goes a long way. Like
Yeah.
these
Yes.
little moments of just showing how, accountable and mature she could be. But even with that, I love that she was acknowledging that you are trying to avoid and self sabotage your situation with Ian and try to blow this up. The fact that you were, in the bed with him and the whole thing, just to avoid not talking about your situation and maybe you just not wanting any children. And then at that moment, I was like, did she sleep with Ian? I mean, did she sleep with Jameson? Because I'm just really not even sure, D. Like, I feel like in my heart of hearts that she didn't, but for writing's sake, if I was gonna bet on who would be pregnant, majority of the time it's the one who least wanted to be. And I feel like it is going to be Camille. But if it is that, I'm like, if we're going, we're good. We're gonna write something, D. I swear. If we're
Mhm.
going into good writing, it would be the, is it Jameson or is it Ian? Because I've slept with them both in the same amount of time. But I'm like, she said she didn't sleep with him, but it would be very Camille to lie about it. Like, I'm just not, really sure about that, because I could really see her telling Angie, because she tells her, like, girl, leave this here. You slept, which I didn't care for. Like, honey, if you slept in the bed with an ex-girlfriend, you need to tell me about it.
Mhm.
But she's like, no, get to what's really bothering you with Ian, have a real life conversation with him, and stop trying to, sabotage stuff so you don't have to deal with any of the conflict or the aftermath of maybe me and Ian did all of this for absolutely nothing. But I don't know. Do you think Camille's pregnant?
Uh, it would be. I don't. I'm
We
trying
know
to
it's
think.
not
'Cause-
Ty.
well, that's what I was gonna say. That would be quite the curveball if it was Ty out of all out of all people. But yeah, I can see it being. I can see it being Camille, because
Mhm.
then it wouldn't bring an end to the whole Ian situation, because if they don't, then that is kind of the end of that. But if she is, then it's like, how, it creates an ongoing conflict, and kind of complicated scenario for her and Ian to work through, if that is, his baby and all that. And if it's not, it's still going to be complicated. But yeah, I could see that. I wonder if they're going to take the easy route and make it Quinn, though. They don't have to do that, but I wouldn't surprise me if they did.
Oh man, but I didn't agree with Angie just saying, like, girl, if you want to tell me 1,000 times that you woke up in the bed with Jameson and y'all ain't do nothing but maybe rub shoulders, go ahead, but don't tell nobody else. Me as a significant other and your partner, I would want to know. But I'm here for all of Angie and the greatness. But I really love the moment in the montage of them walking back into the water, as to say, we are starting anew, this whole like purity, and we're washing everything away. Like, I love that. I thought that scene was handled and it was really, really beautiful. How did you feel about them walking backwards into the ocean and coming out anew? I was like, I need to go to the beach.
Yes. Yeah, I liked it because I love, the big I'm big on travel, and I think what's great about traveling any place is just kind of getting into the cultural aspect of it, just the culture in general. Certain things that they believe or they uphold. Just like whatever kind of customs and norms that are there. Wow. I
I'm just showing the comments, D.
Right. But I enjoy that. So the fact that they heard, and even when they were talking about the whole commune thing, like, I thought
Yes.
that was really
Oh,
cool. And
yes, yes.
yeah, like all of that, like when they just kind of discussed that, I loved hearing just them, talking about their experiences there, in the country and in the town and all that. And so I really liked that, they took it upon themselves to actually have that experience. And what's funny is I didn't know at the time what the episode order was.
Comments
So
taking me out, D. I'm listening.
Harlem skills.
I'm gonna cut y'all off. What you say?
Oh gosh. But no, but I was actually surprised for a second. I didn't know what the episode order was. So when they were walking backwards and they were flashing back to like the first
Yes.
season, so I'm like, is this like the
The
finale?
last
I was
season?
thinking, yeah, like I was thinking like this almost like they brought it to a complete close. And then when there was that other little piece and then it rolled over, I was like, oh, I guess I'm wrong. So yeah, but I really enjoyed the scene in general. It was a really refreshing, just kind of I don't know. I kind of felt the vibe that they were creating by doing that. I enjoyed
Yes. Now I paused on this picture for a reason because this is when Quinn had me all the way messed up.
it.
We have, this is we leaving off of this island fresh, rejuvenated, and renewed with
Yeah.
purpose. Okay, Quinn has, settled. I'm gonna take medication. Camille has a new thesis. Not only am I gonna talk to Ian, but it's Black joy all around. We have freaking Ty. She's living her best life. Thriving as a businesswoman and all that good stuff. And then, finally at this point, we get to see a picture of Michael. Like, no, 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 girl, this is my baby Mike. Like, no, no, this is my Mike. Girl, what you mean, yo, Michael? Like, Quinn, she had no rights. But hold on, the shade of it all when she goes like, "Oh, my mom tried to set us up. He thought, she thought we would be perfect, but now he's talking to you." Like, girl, I was with Angela. Like, girl, what's wrong with me? Like,
Right.
like the shade that was coming off of Quinn and how she completely like switched as soon as she realized that anybody who could possibly be perfect for me or even interested in me on a certain level, they're with you. Like, ew. Like, Quinn had
Mhm.
me fucked up. How are you doing, D? Like,
Yeah, like I said, it threw me off because I figured, that one scene was the end. And then I was like, oh, okay, well, this is gonna be the last scene. And then once Quinn reacted, I was like, what? I'm like, so we're gonna end off with this as their issue. And then like you said, I caught the veiled insult and not so veiled insult of, like, yeah, oh, and now he's with you. And it's like, why is this a
why?
problem? Like, because this is not only a man that you really didn't give the time or day, and you both seem to be fine with not you both seem to agree that you were both being thrown in a situation you didn't want to be part of. And Angie is good. You're having this situation with this other guy from college and this and that. So I was actually surprised that Quinn was
Child.
capable of being that petty, because
I
I'm just like, of all the things to have an issue about, like, is this okay?
when I tell you, I literally had no like that was a little flip flop. Like, and I think I said maybe I don't know when she initially met Mike. I was hoping that it'll be a mutual like, oh girl, I met him on the golf course. They tried to set us up, he ha ha. Like, but he's a cool guy. No, it
Right.
was like my Mike. Like, excuse me. And then for us to just get into the finale episode and she is just so bothered, like to the point of jealousy.
Hmm.
And we hear her say things like, well, the next time you decide to, get drunk and have sex with a random Uber driver, girl, like, don't, why are you trying to act like Mike is the end all to be all and you're having all this growth as a person? Girl, we know you a hoe. Like, stop. Like, I was
Ooh,
like, wow,
wow.
what? It be your own friend. Like,
Mhm.
the fact that, depression and everything aside, but it was getting a little bit not even more so because I know the ending factor is her being afraid of losing people closest to her. And it's
Mhm.
just like, oh, if Angie is coming together, because Angie's living her best life. She got a movie coming with Jennifer Lewis. She got a
Mhm.
role with Jennifer Lewis. And, she's very, the Mike is very happy, seems very supportive. Like she's flourishing. We're doing really, really well. But you take this moment to chip away at my happiness to the point that it's like, you know what? If he is going to come between us, I just need to drop Mike altogether. Even if I'm upset about it, he can go. I was like, hell no. Like Quinn had absolutely no rights to Mike. Like if we had seen them, like maybe going on a date or some stuff that could have been something but wasn't. Like there was nothing. Like you didn't even
Nothing.
touch this man's elbow on the golf course, girl. Like he was just there to entertain you and you're dealing with your mother. It was absolutely nothing. So for her to take it and make it what it was, like I did not expect that, and I was all like in my feelings about Angie just dropping something that was bringing her happiness and, just giving her growth just for, I mean, more power to your friend, but
Mhm.
absolutely not. And then not even dropping the relationship, she starts to just have this inner conflict of, do I deserve somebody like Mike? Am I just I may be, just Angie and just be hypersexual and just only be built for, multiple partners. Maybe I don't deserve this. And this is, Quinn's dating pool. I don't deserve anybody like Mike. Like I stay on my side of the fence with, I was like, for you to make your friend feel like that, I thought that was so trash and it was for absolutely no reason. D.
Yeah. Like I said, like I mean, you kind of said it all, but yeah, I thought it was foul. It's just like again, it's like is that some internalized privilege and entitlement coming out? Is the truth coming out? Is this more than? Are you kind of putting your friend back into her place like unconsciously, and now that's
Yeah.
coming to the surface because if you this is someone you really care about. I understand when we talk about the whole girl code stuff, but like what code
Yeah.
is being broken here? Like there's no attachment, there's nothing. I mean, she barely even looked at that man's direction, even when she met him on the golf course. So it's like,
How?
what are we doing here?
There was no interest to be had, but I just hate that Angie took that because we're getting into Camille's whole Black Joy exhibit and her show, and we see different portions of what Black Joy means to all of them, which I thought was nice. It was really great, but just this is a part of Angie's journey and her finding herself, and this is, her joy, and it's a sense of you taking that away. But it was like, what's the point of y'all little friendship? Because Angie was heated, like, hey, girl, girl, I want to talk to you. like,
Mhm.
I just really don't have time for this. But I was all here for Mike rolling up, like, girl, what's good? Like, when Mike told her, like, and which is why I'm worried for their friendship because I ain't even gonna save it. In the end, we do have Mike end up proposing to her, to Angie, and I think Quinn is about to be such a hater.
Oh,
That is, if she accepted the proposal and says yes, I feel like it's going to be some pushback because immediately when he said, why are you, is there a problem? Like, what's going on? She broke up with me. And it's just like, no, like, I ain't checking for you. It's like, well, if it's none of that and you're okay. And she, why are we here? Like, we need to fix this. And it's like, I love Ange. Like, please, like, you doing the most. Like, I'm like, I was with her. Like, this was overnight, but still, like,
right.
I love her. And when he says, like, I know that there is real love here for Angie, and she's somebody I've been waiting for because I used to be that hopelessly in love person who would change myself just to be with somebody. I was desperate. I was pitiful. I was pathetic. And she was like, I was like, yeah, hit dogs holler. Like, like I just had a whole journey of self discovery, and now I am, who I am today enough to know that I need and I want somebody like Angie in my life. But she immediately kind of was like, "Oh well, it's nothing. Like I can get you two back together. Like how did you feel about her saying it was nothing and kind of immediately feeling like I need to, repair their relationship?"
Again, I think the entitlement is jumping out. And like I said, it is now falling upon her to fix and repair. And I hate to say it, but play Captain Sailor. You know what?
Oh Lord. Oh.
Yeah. So I just think again, it kind of speaks to Quinn's entitlement and just kind of how she sees her positioning like in this friend group, or even if it's just we're talking about just in her friendship with Angie. I think it really speaks for itself. But let me go ahead and say really quickly that I was not, because sometimes we laugh, sometimes we don't. But I will say that when oh girl, the client was worried about appropriating Scotland with the plaid and then came out in a whole Nigerian outfit, I
Oh
screamed.
Lord. Lord. First of all, I was
Woo!
waiting on Quinn
I
to
was
stop her.
dying.
Like, don't let her walk so she can say she came out in a Quinn original. Like, no, ma'am,
Right.
don't let that be the advertisement for your business. Like,
Right.
get her out of here. But I just didn't. It just really didn't feel. I don't know, for whatever reason. Even though we do have kind of Quinn have a full circle moment, with her just once again feeling like this was going to be yet another person to take from me. If she's so happy with her life, her career, and her relationship with you, where does that leave me as her best friend? And but just how quick she had that revelation, and it was just in the midst of their 5-second conversation. Oh no, it was nothing, I was just feeling some type of way because you may be taking over me, but I can get y'all back together. I thought that the change was a little too quick. And
Mhm.
I thought it was a little disingenuous because, mind you, she had not talked to Angie at this point about anything. She hadn't really talked about anything. I don't think at this point that she knew that she broke it off with him for her. But I don't know, something about Quinn. I love this comment that we have here. Quinn is giving, I make friends with women who I think are inferior to me so that I can stand out and feel better about myself energy. She is being very petty with Angie. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely, all day long. Like, I still don't like Quinn. Mental health issues are not, she is wrong for how she did her supposed best friend. Yes, absolutely. Like, I immediately separated the two because your mental health and your depression, that's a whole nother thing. Even when we start off the episode, this is a decision that she's making and how she's doing on her meds. I love that she spoke about her meds in the beginning. It's just like, I thought
Mhm.
that they would make me feel some type of way or make me drowsy, or I feel great, like I'm really starting to feel better. And we see her supposedly, basking in her perfection of a relationship, where it's, where have you been on my life energy? And,
Mhm.
she's cooking with her mother, and it's like everything is okay, but just not okay enough for you to have anything. Like, I need you to be the Angie that's sleeping on my couch. Like,
Right.
I did not see that coming up off Quinn, no type of way. Like, girl, how dare you? We want Angie to fly. Don't do that.
Mhm. Mhm.
Do not do that. But we also get into Camille here. Like, I always be forgetting about Camille. Like, it is never intentional, but I don't know. I just need, strong, maybe put some strength on Camille's character.
Yes.
But she is more gearing towards her career. And it is beginning to, which I hated because I love that point, but I'm like, because I was like you. I was like, something's missing. We get right into this episode, and Ian is trying to purchase a home.
Mhm.
He has a home, and it's just like, we gonna knock down this wall and this and that. When they freaking said that, oh, my parents were going to take out a home equity loan and all this other good stuff to pay off the wedding that I never had, hell no. Like, excuse me? Even though at that moment Camille was trying to use that, like, don't you have to deal with that? She was trying to deflect yet again because she's not ready for the house, the home, the husband, and the whole nine. But I was like, excuse me? The fact that we had the rich auntie roll up and pay, like, just outright, not even a loan, like, you just
Mhm.
don't mess up again, nephew. And that be, the just for Ian to go on and flourish and live his best life with Camille. But the fact that he was willing to let his parents put up their house to pay his debt, hell no. How did you feel about that?
Yeah, I had to run that back one more time because I was like, surely that's not. I don't know, like for whatever reason, I guess I thought it was like a setup for like a. Oh, but no, that's not really. I mean, or I don't know. I thought it might have been some kind of like, oh, they'll do anything for me or whatever. But I didn't know like it was literal. Like, so that's why I had to run it back. I was like, you're okay with letting your parents put oh, like, so yeah, that was off-putting. And then like with the whole aunt, which is so funny if they have Bevy Smith on this show, but it was just kind of like, I mean, it's nice that you got it like that, I guess, but I don't know. I don't know. Maybe my perspective is off, but I don't know if that what that does for his character as far as him having to be accountable for his own decisions because he
Ugh.
is the reason that happened. So I was kind of like, I don't know.
I think we were kind of getting into what I was thinking about before, them really just low key not being right for each other,
Mhm.
and those chickens kind of coming home to roost as far as a
Mhm.
relationship. Like how y'all got here and how it's ended is,
Mhm.
really plausible. Like it was real funky the way that you got together. And then there's
Mhm.
this whole sense of Ian. Ian seems to be, a really good man, but there is also, I noticed that every single time there is some type of indiscretion or something with Camille, he pushes back. He's kind of like, girl, like, or he is, leaving the apartment. So there is a whole lot of immaturity to be had on. I really, I've seen a lot of comments like, I feel like Jameson. I thought Jameson was, the better pick for Camille, especially career wise and, her goals and ambitions for her life. He seems to be on that same wavelength, but I don't think she deserves either one of these men.
Right. Right.
Absolutely not. But yeah, there was a whole lot of immaturity to be had as far as like I just I did not like that. Like I thought in that moment when she kind of brought it to his attention, like you can't let your parents do that, and she offered him the money. I thought he was going to have a click moment, like you know what, I need to be a man. I need to deal with this on my own. And he was just like, well, thank you for this money, Auntie. I was like, oh, okay.
Right.
We're just going to, take the money and flourish and, live our best life with Camille. And Camille is the furthest from that. And I love even the sit down that and child, let me go back to these dang on comments talking about Whitley Gilbert and her freaking accent. Like, child, I just let it go, y'all. They had her in these last few episodes a whole lot more than previously, and we're still giving, Sebastian. Well, hell, I can't even give her Sebastian under the sea Little Mermaid because it's not even that good. Like
Right.
it's bad. The accent is subpar, y'all. We just gotta we just gotta let it rock.
Mhm. Right.
We have to let it rock. But even with it being bad, I love her just kind of, I guess, kind of going through her friends to kind of get to her because we have Angie reach out and then she just kind of pops up. And I love how I get. And hold on, what did you say about Quinn and that entitlement? She got it from her mama. I love how she
Right.
just pops up and
Mhm.
you have her kind of confide in her. How do you know that you want to be a mother? How do you know that it's the right thing? Like, how do I know that this is what I want? Because I'm honestly feeling like I'm leaning more towards, career goals. Who is this said? Ian's not a good man. Ian is, not a perfect man at all. I'm never going to say that. It's a lot of great qualities to him, like his passion to be a family oriented man and to be somebody's husband, whether we're going about it the right way. I really admire that. I thought it was just so cute. He said like, we're gonna put little Langston and little Zora over there, like, yeah, give them names. There we go, give a little history on them names. But I loved all of that. But once we have Camille just have the whole exhibit, and it's just such a success, and it's like, this is what's bringing me peace, this is what's bringing me happy. That sense of what Camille, that conversation that she had with Jasmine Guy, and it was just like, I'm getting those same feelings, those endorphins from my career. I don't think I want to have any children at all. And then she has this deep conversation with. I was like, okay, Jameson, get your backpack ready, bro. She come over there
Mhm.
because it's not
Right.
even that. It's a full circle moment for her. Not only does Dr. Pruitt show up and everybody's just basking, her mother shows up, all of this support. Everybody's just so proud of her, and she is just really basking in future success and her being a strong career woman. But how am I supposed to be that if I'm somebody's mother and I'm at home and I'm a wife? That's just not something I want. So I think, like we both pretty much said in the first recap, this is, we knew that this was going to happen. I knew
Mhm.
that she and Ian, they would not make it and they would end up separating. How did you feel about Camille's journey and her discovering being, the 21st first century woman? I don't want no children. I want, I'm trying to live my Joan life. I don't want no children. I'm trying to be my Tracy Ellis Ross and just have my career. How did you feel about that?
Well, it's unfortunate that we had to blow up someone else's wedding and go through all this other drama just to get here. But you know, but listen, no, I'm here for. I am here for how it panned out because obviously the happy ending would be easiest to have play out, whereas we actually dealt, in spite of everything we've gone through throughout the season, we actually dealt with the reality of her having to move on and recognizing was right for herself, and not, kind of constraining herself and limiting herself to like an image and a role that she never really wanted,
Mhm.
or at least now recognizes that she doesn't want. And so I was here for the honesty. Like it's brutal honesty. It's nothing that anyone wants to hear in that kind of situation. It's definitely bringing back Brock and Joan from
Yes.
Girlfriends.
Oh Lord. Oh, don't even bring that up, Lord. Let's just say Joan one. Well, not so much Joan, Joshua, just Tracy Alice Ross, and the new generation of women coming up
Mhm.
today who just decide I don't find my validation, my strength, and just my reason in that way. Like I'm more about my career, not so much Joan. I'm sorry, Tracy Ellis Ross. She's just gonna be Joan all her life. I don't care. That's just Joan. But we also had some maturity on Ian's part, just to not be like, okay, you know what, I love you so much, and we have blew up a wedding and did a whole lot just to get here, but I would be doing myself a disservice to say that I'm willing to cast aside wanting, the wife and the children, the home and the whole thing to be with you. And he just kind of walks away. I was like, well, that's it for that. Like that's
Right.
it for that. And then we finally have Angie and have that talk, and it's just like, girl, my girlfriends, like, a girl, I love you. I'm happy for you and all of this other good stuff. And we find out that she has had this little come to Jesus with Mike, and I'm going to help you have this really romantic night, and has given, all of her favorite things. And it was very romantic. I love the whole scratcher. I was like, yes. Very creative. It's very Angie. But
Yes.
we have him propose to Angie, and we have Quinn just be okay and happy for her friend and moving forward in their relationship. And we also have Quinn have the revelation of, it's really not for me right now to jump back into a relationship, even if it is perfect. I need to discover who I am and love myself first. How did you feel about all of that?
Yeah, I'll say that I would with Angie. I liked the moment, and I like the fact that Quinn was a part of that. The way it played out, and he popped up and he was there. Listen, I can appreciate. I know some people, it can be kind of a thing when romance is depicted, but I like
It
when
was
it's,
just rushed, D. That's all.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
like I liked, I love the when I don't know, like the feeling of romance and depiction of it, like when you get a good vibe from it. I like that vibe, and I like to enjoy moments like that. But like I said, I was hoping that this wasn't leading to a proposal, because it's like we don't really know anything about this character. Not to say he's some terrible person, that we're going to suddenly just, not to say there's some dark situation going on in the background, but can we know more? Can we see more dynamics in their relationship? Can they get adjusted to being in the
Yeah.
same place together,
Yeah.
or being around? Like, let's see more of that. I just felt like it was so soon for
Yeah.
that to happen, and it's just like you said, we spent so many of these first few episodes, establishing stuff that went nowhere. Did we need to have Angie at the dude's house with the mansion dealing with that
Oh
situation?
Lord. I need a
You
place to
know,
stay. Come on now, come on. Like,
right? Like, we have her character
oh.
dealing with that, and then we rushed this part of it. So that was kind of my. So I wasn't. I liked it, but then I didn't like it because of
Yeah.
how it was handled. And then as far as who am I missing? Was
Quinn.
Quinn? Sorry.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, like I said, and I kind of got ahead of myself. But to circle back to that, yeah, I like the fact that Quinn understood what decision she had to make. Because, like I said, it's easy to walk away from something when you know that it's bad, or if there's some blatant red flag or huge issue. But it's much harder to recognize that this is something that is good, something that you want, something that is like a great, that's going to add something to your life, and kind of recognize, hey, I actually don't know who I am
Yeah.
outside of a relationship. And a lot of people, listen, there are a
Child.
lot of people who are the same way. And unfortunately, I think it's
Oh.
society, and I think it's the way we're socialized, and we're kind of taught to, it's just there the kind of these, and I think we see it in media, and I think we're all taught to kind of either pursue relationships or kind of uphold relationships a certain way, and we do it to the detriment of our own identity, and we just don't really know who we are if we're not with someone, and that's not how that should be.
Mhm.
And we know the famous quote, like, if you can't.
Can't love yourself. How the hell you gonna love somebody else? Can I get an amen up in here? Like,
That's
yes,
right.
come on, Mama Ro. But who is this? I don't get this vibe with Camille and Ian, but Jameson is so real. Yeah, they're out there like she once again trying to jump back into, old habits and kind of pick up where they left off was their downfall. They are different people, they've grown a lot and they want different things in the end. But even when it comes to Jameson, like how she, decided to go about now no longer wanting to be with Jameson, I wouldn't. And I think she has her speech because now it's been the exhibit is such a success that she's like, I mean, I'm gonna have future prospects and maybe leave and be more goal. And it's kind of like I'm not ready to let her go. And he kind of gives a nod, like of course we do know that he's still interested, but I'm like, yeah, y'all giving Camille a whole lot of grace, like. Like I think even just like Quinn, that maybe Camille needs to kind of figure out, her thing before she attaches herself to anybody. And I would make her work for it if I was Jameson. Like, girl, I
Mhm.
ain't, because he does have this sense of just kind of waiting around, waiting on her. Like, yeah. So even if I feel like before the episode ended, if she would have been like, if you're open to it, he would have, yeah, like, hell yeah, girl, I've been waiting on you
Right.
the whole time. Been praying on the downfall of this relationship with you and Ian. I've been pretending it was just about business, but if you want to go beyond that, I'm down for it. Like, I
Right.
just want Camille to really find her footing, just like she is with this career. Do that with your relationships, because child, yeah, I just need them to go a little deeper with Camille. And I even like I liked Joali showing up and just like, oh, my mom, she's here, she's supporting me, she never comes to anything, but I'm like, we need some more. Like, we need a whole lot more. But it's just like they're kind of like clicked in into Black Twitter and different social media and just a lot of commentary. And it's just like, are we gonna sprinkle some of this here, sprinkle it here, but it's never just like a full concept of the show just to make us really invested and love it. But
Right.
it's okay, they're coming along. They're coming along. But now that we got that out the way, saving it for last, let's talk about Ty. Let's talk about Ty. Like, I that was the shock of the whole show. I did not see that coming from out of anywhere. First, let me even just get into her linking up with Miss Amy. Like, first of all, if y'all gonna do a Clueless reference, like, I love Josh. I was like, okay. I love the waterfall and the reference to Clueless and Cher and that revelation of, I do love somebody that might be, a little different. That, that person who I've been kind of beelining this whole show, because she's been there and they've had their encounters and kind of been supportive in her own little way. But Ty has always had her own agenda as far as how she wants to live her life and how many partners she wants to have and all of that good stuff. But in that moment, it's like, hey, you want to go out? She's like, would you? Like, girl, all together, your lovely daughter, whole divorce day. And it's just like, this is a whole different vibe. Like, Amy is very much so a woman.
Mhm.
Amy is a woman. I love when Ty, and I was living for it too, for the little brief moment we got to live, honey. And she was like, I don't need you trying to show out. And let me pause her here with her daughter. She's like, I don't need you to try to show up and do what you normally do on those little dates. Like, no, we finna go to the fish shack, get a couple of fish, girl, just about to hang out and talk. And I even love the conversation. She was like, they love a good label. There's so many labels, but back in the day, it was just me kind of liking what I liked in this whole thing. And I am very open to dating both men and women. I don't have a good relationship with my ex, but I have a beautiful daughter who I love that supports me. And we have Ty just like, yes, girl, this is great. And then we get to the door and it's just like, we about like, no, Ty, this is not that. You're not gonna treat me like your little disposable one night stands,
Mhm.
jump offs. I am a woman. I do have certain standards, and we're going to wait. At which we see Ty. She don't even get a block away from the brownstone. And it's Zoe. It's just like, I put, girl, meet me at my spot in 10 minutes. You ain't say nothing but a word. Amy ain't trying to give me none.
Mhm.
And like, Ty is a whole hot mess. Like, I don't even know why a person like Amy would even entertain Ty. Ty can even keep a plant alive for a week. Like,
Right.
Ty is not that person to entertain, but we do see in the episode that she does see Amy as a possibility of maybe I do want a little bit more, ain't want nobody here to give me because Zoe said, girl, I ain't giving you no shot in the stomach, girl, get out my face. I just came over here
Mhm.
to look on you. You think I want to do that? You getting too close and too personal.
Mhm.
But when we have, her just completely like leave Zoe there high and dry in the bed, like, girl, I'm hotter than fish grease. Go leave me here because that prospect of Amy, like, this is where I really want to be. Yes, there is a temptation of sex, but I could want more than that. I need somebody to help me grow as a plant. Let me go over here to Amy, who's about to, break it down one time. No, Amy just wants you to come over to give you some intimacy. Girl, I was just, let's cuddle, let's, caress, we're chill. It's just like, I like this, but let me go to the bathroom. But who's in the bathroom, D? Zoe is in the bathroom, and Zoe is this daughter. Never, I did not see that coming. If anybody connected that Amy and Zoe were related in any type of way, please drop it in the chat because I did not see that coming. And this is just so messy. D, how did you react to Zoe coming out that damn bathroom?
That was a jaw dropper for sure. I honestly, the only thing I thought was that exactly, Joshua. The only thing I thought was that it was going to be something to where, obviously her daughter was going to, suddenly see her, and then it might have been a situation where it's like, oh, so you like women, and I don't know. Like I thought it was going to be like a more like kind of like what's going on situation. I
Yeah.
didn't think it was going to be her and it completely threw me off. And my thing is, how do they go forward with that? Because how do you get past the fact that you have been getting it in with this woman's daughter, and that, like
Oh,
that's not. So I don't know how that can even go forward because to me that's an instant like we out of here. So yeah, yeah.
not Ty's
That was,
ex-husband might be Amy's baby daddy. Child, he better not be. Like, I
no.
believe Ty's ex-husband is from a completely different state. So child. But it is, something because I was kind of giving a side eye when she said, I don't come to this fish spot because I'm trying to avoid, my ex who lives, not too far. New York is big, but New York is small, just as we could see, because girl, oh, not the mother daughter combo, Ty. Like, this is some messiness. Like, what D, I can't even say, like, where do we go from here? There is nowhere to go from here. Like, you've slept with my daughter. That's it. Like, you gotta go.
Right.
You have to go. We have to separate. It's too many people in the world for us to be sharing Ty. Like, that was just I was like, what where we going with this? Like, if we try to, piece something together next season of this
Oh,
mother daughter dynamic and Ty being stuck in the middle, I am not here for that. I am not here for that because if anything, you could see just how passionate Amy is about her daughter and that whole connection. And like, thankfully, I'm so glad Amy decided to give her intimacy and not, actually sleep with her, but she has to go. It's Ty and all of her problems need to go. And I'm hoping that this is a situation on Ty missing out on something that could have been special because she was, being so promiscuous and so a little careless with her partners to the point of if we are just constantly meeting up for sex and it doesn't really go beyond that, you don't know who I know, you don't know who my parents are, you don't know, hey, you don't know anything about me. I doubt she even knew Zoe's last name, and now it's kind of come back to bite her in the butt because you actually like Amy and you have been fucking on her daughter. Yeah, I just I just can't like I did not expect that, D. Like
at
I did not
all.
expect that. Let's see, I knew Amy and Ty was gonna get together, but that twist was life too funny. Like it was
Yes.
not like, and I was kind of living for. I was like, well, that was kind of sad how she just left Zoe on the bed. But once again, Zoe is like Amy kept saying, I'm not, as young. I don't have time to wait around on you, girl. Like if we're gonna hang out, we need to go. Unlike Zoe, who is clearly very young, being Amy's daughter. We already knew she was young, but Ty doesn't look, as old. I'm just like, how old is Zoe? Like,
Right.
how old is this? Is this, an 18-year-old? Like, what is going on? But I just, D, I was just waiting for for the episode to go off, child, and I was like, all right, look at, kind of this picturesque moment of Ty ending up like that couple that she placed so much judgment on. There's no sex happening. There's just, pure intimacy, love, and affection. We can, do so many other things together. And it's this little small sense of Ty growing, and then it gets messy again.
Mhm. I was curious. Did you think that Rachel True and Dree Johnson, do you think they had chemistry?
Uh, Not really. Not really. Like, because if there was, like, I think I was like, were they intentionally trying to make it lax so that when Amy said, hey, you want to go? 'Cause prior to that, not only, us not feeling like Amy had any interest in women at all, but, Ty, I thought it was going to be more of a friendship type of thing. And maybe,
Right.
there will be some connection there outside of her friends group that she's in. But I did not see that coming at all. But I was like, maybe it was intentional just for it to kind of be a surprise on our end and Ty's end. But yeah, it was no nothing. Now Zoe, on the other hand, there's tons of chemistry there, but it just, I don't know. I can't get into it like that, because when we do see her with Zoe, they're constantly just sleeping together and then she's leaving. But the attraction and the chemistry is there, of course, because this is all that they do together.
Right.
But yeah, I didn't see it for her and Amy. I'm happy that there's growth, but yeah, I'm assuming you ain't see it either, D.
Yeah, when they got on the step and they kissed, I was like,
Well, the fact that I've had this comment sitting here this whole time and I ain't read it, like Shanice, like Shanice, Shanice, oh, you know what, Shanice, you finna get out, you finna get out. Oh Lord, don't do Ty. Ty said I'm finna hit you with this mule. Like, girl, what you talking about? You ain't ready for all this. Like, oh God. Oh, I'm finna get you off of here. Like, um,
See,
I can know what I can't. I just can't. I'm not gonna play with your niece. Oh Lord. Okay. She done threw me off. Let's see. I knew Amy and Ty was gonna get together. Okay, that twist. Let's see. Yeah, that's what I just said. How old is Amy and her daughter?
right,
That's what I was like, Ty, is this an 18-year-old? Like, I'm feeling like with how old, because I'm sure we're kind of basing it off of, true age. Well, I
right,
can't say that because I think Rachel True is in her like 50s,
yep,
but I don't think she's supposed to be that old in the show. But
right,
I feel like she can't be any more than 19, maybe 20. Like, she just can't be that old. Like, she has to be of age, because if they tried the like, oh, this is my young high schooler, oh, I would shoot Ty in the face, like. But it was, I wouldn't, I just want to know the route that they would go with that, because at the end of the day, you really don't know anything about Zoe.
right,
Absolutely nothing. So, and I don't see Ty being the type to do the due diligence to check for, to, are you over 18? Because because I think she met her in a bar, or a club, so there is the assumption that she is, of course, of age. But I'm very curious to see if she is just, 18-year-old. She better be 18, D. I'm not playing nothing else.
right.
Oh Lord, Ty's life is a hot mess, and the Zoe and Amy twist was a surprise to me. Zoe needs to kick Ty to the curb. If there's really even nothing to kick to the curb, if somebody was gonna kick, I think it would be Amy. Like, Zoe's just like looking at her like, girl, why you here? You just left me on the bed. What are you doing in here? It wasn't, anything. I'm sure there'll be some conflict now, but if they try to make fetch happen with this relationship, and Amy just
No,
trying to like blindside, like, oh, I know you slept with my daughter, but I like you. Like, girl, please.
no.
Oh Lord. But then we get here. Let me pause it here. We have, that revelation happen, and then we have the women get together and somebody is pregnant. Uh, Now the doctor did say before, like, you've been feeling some type of way. You know, I'm glad you came in. I was like, who been sick? Like anybody,
Right.
anything, anything has happened. But I just, who do you? I think as far as pregnancy, I think it's either Camille or it is Quinn. Who do you think?
Yeah, like I would kind of love it to be Ty because that would be the biggest mess. Because that would be such a complication. But then, it's already this whole, this whole thing with Amy and Zoe. So I'm sure they may not want to stack up drama. We need to kind of like save some for one or of the other as far as the other ladies.
Mhm.
But yeah, I can see it being those two. But like a small part of me would really like it to be Ty.
Oh Lord, not Ty. Like Ty would have to, Not Ty. What she do? Like, y'all, I slipped up and slept with my ex husband while he was after he gave me them shots. I was spreading the little and I slept with my ex. That's like the only man that and Ty is just so sad in her sexuality, and Ty is
Right,
low key more of the masculine on the sexual spectrum as far as in the gay community. So I don't see her. She's more dominant. I don't see her like She probably would have hurt her ex husband. Ain't nobody got time for Ty. Oh Lord, yes, we guess that's a possibility. That's why I'm
that's
going for either Quinn or Camille. Somebody said
right.
56. Yes, Rachel True is 56 years old and she looks amazing. She looks really, really great. But I was like, no, I'm not giving him no credit. I'm assuming that she in the show, I feel like she's more so maybe in her late 30s or 40s. And I don't know, but they better not pull nothing with Zoe. But do you have any predictions at all for the show? Are you looking forward to another season of Harlem D?
Uh, so I am only because it's like we keep raising, like we keep seeing and we keep kind of raising in certain moments, like the potential this show has. So it's
Mhm.
kind of like so it's kind of like a toxic relationship. Like I'm sticking around for the good times, but I can't stand the bad times. So I'm kind of, it's kind of a back and forth. As far as predictions, I think that Camille. I feel like Jameson isn't completely out the picture.
Mm.
Depending on now, if she ends up being pregnant, then maybe Ian isn't out the picture either. So there could be that. But if not Jameson, then we could possibly see her with a new love interest, which would be an interesting route to take. As far as Ty, I would be interested in seeing like what her arc is going to be if it's not Zoe and it's not Amy, because I'm her stuff kind of came to a close. I mean, there's her business and her job, and oh well, we would see her doing the whole polyamorous thing,
Mhm. The app.
yeah, the app and all
Mhm.
that. So that would be interesting. And but I'm assuming she wouldn't be test driving that herself, but who knows? After this situation, I hope not, but we'll see. And then Quinn, I think Quinn is going to get herself together. I hope we can kind of see her building back up, see her in therapy. That was one of my favorite parts of Insecure when they actually showed Molly in therapy and being
Yeah, I
checked, having
thought
to
one
deal
of
with.
our ladies here would go to therapy, but that didn't
Yeah,
happen this season.
yeah, we need some therapy on the show next season, and we can just kind of get more and hopefully see her dad again and just kind of get more into her experiences in her relationship. I guess Isabella has flown the coop, and so has her ex stripper boyfriend. So I guess they're
Completely
gone.
dropped
So
that.
it'll be interesting to see what you said. What?
I say completely dropped. I forgot about the stripper. Like they are
Right?
so far from those things that didn't serve any purpose in the long run of the show. Like, continue, D. I ain't mean to
Yeah.
cut you off. Like I was like, who? I was like, oh, Ernest. You talking about
Right.
Ernest? I forgot all about him.
Yeah, so hopefully we'll see her on a journey of getting better, and hopefully just kind of making the name for herself as far as her business and her job and getting more opportunities. I think there are ways for us to explore that and it still be interesting, quirky, funny, and all that. And then Angie, seeing her navigate, I want to see. I need, because Angie is the conduit for this, but I need more kooky, weird musicals that she ends up being a part of. Because Get Out the musical was everything, and then Dip the musical, I
Oh
was here
Lord.
for. So we need more of those. Find a way to just throw her in all this crazy stuff on set, and I think if they lean more into that, that can be really really fun. And then we'll just see what happens with Michael. But hopefully we can learn more about him, as I'm assuming she'll get to know his family and all that. They can really round that out, and I hope they just keep giving that character a chance to shine. And maybe we'll find a way to her getting plugged back into the industry again. I think that would be
Hmm.
cool.
Oh man. Well, first of all, I want whoever wrote these last four episodes to do all the writing for the show moving forward.
Right.
I need for that to happen because these were the best and we wasted so much time and wasted potential. If I see, I don't need things to be perfect, but if I see potential in the show, I will stick around. I will watch and support. But
Right.
they weren't doing the best job before. But I feel like I'm going to continue to watch, of course, but I do feel like either Quinn or Camille will be pregnant. I feel like we are going to see Angie glow up and flourish in her career, and I think the problem will be if she accepted the proposal and maybe her being engaged. I think there's going to be friction in her relationship with Quinn, and Quinn is going to be jealous, honestly. And it's going to be problematic because I think when she did the whole, oh, it's her favorite wine and the blanket and the whole thing, I don't think she thought, oh, you're linking up to propose to my friend, because I think there would have been some pushback. But I think that's going to kind of lean in on her journey of self discovery, and I'm just going to be Quinn and learning to love myself. It's just like, oh, I'm missing out. Like, what's going on with my life if this one, she's going to get married before me? Like,
Mhm.
she has somebody, before me. So I think that's going to be her issue. Camille, they better do something with Camille. They better do something with Camille in the writing there. I do love as we've seen, which I guess it was on purpose for the most. I guess when we do get to see Camille flourish the most and really get into her character, is always surrounding her career. So which is great. Like, there's nothing wrong with being career driven, but just when it comes to the other, if you want us to be invested in somebody like Ian or Jameson or anything outside of that, we need to do that. Or just be just to make her, develop her, make her likable. I'm not gonna say likable because I love a character. You can't say like, oh, I can't stand this character, but I still love the character. She just needs she needs something else for her to like just to shape her a little bit more, around her off. Like I said, if they would have kind of dove more into the relationship with her mother and the whole
Mhm.
thing there, because that's clearly something she has been tackling her entire life. Like she said, "Mom, we never play games." Like as
Right.
soon as your husband passed away, you were completely absentee, and just mental illness as a whole, because I know that there is some deep-seated fear. It has to be, it will be for me, like, am I going to end up like my mother? So
Right.
that would be, come on, give the girl something. And then we have freaking Ty with this twist. I really hope we don't go the way I like. I think it just needs to be a cutoff, and it's just like, oh my god, like I really liked Amy, but I kind of messed that up because I was sleeping with her daughter. Also, it was a missed opportunity. Moving forward, I'll move a little differently, and maybe I do want to explore a little bit more intimacy with than just the little sparse of freaking relationships that I have with people that I really don't know. And
Mhm.
of course, I feel like she's going to flourish with her career and all of that other good stuff. And then Quinn, yeah, I feel like Quinn is just, she's going to be doing really good with her growth and her self discovery and, her medication and just really finding out who Quinn is and what she likes. But I think that the limit is going to be, the relationship that she has with her best friend and her, maybe having kind of seeming to have it all, because it looks like we're about to have career. I was like, who thought we was going to end off with Angie having it all? Like, really?
Mhm. Right.
Like, you getting, everything that I always wanted. And I think that the limit is gonna, be there. And maybe Quinn will show a little bit more of her true colors, because they show was popping out in these last few episodes. But
Right.
child, I'm gonna look at some of these comments, D, and then go tell these people to go to your channel. Let's see. I thought early on Ty ended up being a surrogate for Camille, but having her do it with her ex would be interesting. See, look what you did, D. You just bugging these people in. I wouldn't. You just never know. There could have been a soft moment. This is the collab we all needed in our lives. Oh, Lost in the Real.
Hey,
Hey,
Sean.
y'all go check out Sean channel. Sean is everything. He stays
Yeah,
lost in the real and giving all like Sean watches everything. I don't know where he finds the time or how he
exactly.
makes it happen, but Sean literally watches a little bit of everything contemporary and does a review for the movie. It is everything.
Mhm.
Let's see. Yes, okay. Let's see. I want to meet more of Ty's family next season.
Yeah,
We need to meet her. Yeah, we did get to meet Peppermint, and I loved like me and Dee said, like it was great, and then it was snatched away. I just really want the writing to get better for this show and
right.
consistently better because it's like they're like mowing around like the grass, but we ain't went in the house yet. I need them to go in the house
Hmm.
and just really find what makes the show great because there's just so much potential here with these four women and well, we'll just see. Well, we will see where it goes. But I have been made aware, Dee, that Run the World is coming back. Everybody in the chat, do you guys watch Run the World? Have you seen it? And Dee, would you be interested in us discussing Run the World?
Well, the thing is, I have no choice. I've basically been all but yanked into it, given our conversation about this, and then you mentioned Run the World, and I didn't really get a chance to see it before prior to this show. So I'm like, we may as well, and then we can kind of compare and contrast, and especially see how this season plays out because the one actress isn't going to be featured, so
Yeah,
it'll be interesting
like
to see.
it'll be interesting. But I'm gonna take my little ass on off of here and let Dee tell y'all why he all amazing.
Hey everyone, this is D Movie Man, fellow cinephile, popcorn addicts, and emerging film critic, coming to you with reliable recaps, reviews, and reactions. And that is the crux of what I do over on my channel. I, do some occasional trailer reactions. I get into some commentary on my movie reviews. I sometimes recap, certain shows like Bridgerton and The Gilded Age. And with that whole experience, I like getting into why cinema is so special to me, how it's impacted my life, how it recalls so many specific memories throughout my life. And, I try to approach what I have to say with a little bit of depth and analysis and, just recalling a lot. Even like this whole Nick at Night Walt Disney. I've been really diving into the shorts lately. I'm about to drop one about, some British history. I've done one about the Universal movie monsters. So even if you just want to get a taste of that, check out the shorts, get a taste for my content. And, there's plenty more to come, including some great conversations with Tyra, aka Struggle Reviews TV. So, yes, please support, check me out. I would love to have you. Gosh, what you doing?
I am really, first of all, thank you so much for joining me here. Like, this has been great. I did not want to keep you this long, but I felt like we needed to, pick up
Oh,
from episode 5 and just really
yeah.
give the people what they came to see. It looks like, let's see, haven't seen Run the World, but heard it's a good show. I mean, these are just, and it's not even just Run the World, D. Like, I was just thinking about just black led shows in general outside of, selling drugs in the 80s,
Exactly.
that we have. And it's just not a whole lot. I was
Right.
just, I've literally, D, I have set up and I went back to watch Insecure and love Craft Country in the past few months because that's
Mhm.
how hard up I am for us to for us to have something to watch. So even if you have not seen Run the World, I don't know about Run the World without Ella. She was my favorite. Yeah, I'm interested to see where they go with it. Is it me or does Megan Good sometimes make weird facial expressions at times?
Well, see, what's funny is the conversation online is that people are not pleased with Megan Good because they said she was distracting this season because her fillers were popping. So
Oh
she may
no.
have to do
No,
something about
I
that.
wasn't even gonna say that. I ain't even want to say nothing about that. Like I ain't even want to say nothing about that because like, and it's just nothing to take. Like all these women are gorgeous. Megan is still beautiful, but us, especially when we've grown up with somebody for so long, you can tell when they like do a little. Like I just put a little tweak, and it's just
Mhm.
like, did you really need the little tweak? Like, yeah, I think with the it looks like a little Botox here, in my opinion, and it's just
Mhm.
a little constant. Like we're just surprised,
Right.
but, you know. It's okay. You know, sometimes it takes a little moment for the fillers and Botox, from my understanding, to settle. So maybe by the time the next season roll around, the girls will be giving face. Even the conversation with Jasmine Guy, like, I got to take some of these fillers out
Right.
before I have brunch with my friends because I'm looking too young and they can't keep up. Like,
Right.
like yeah, y'all should maybe go together. But
Mhm.
no.
Exactly.
Let's see. But I'm really looking forward to us doing this a little bit more, D. Like, thank you for being here, because child, D, you have helped me out so much, because you know this is not it, D. Like,
Right.
this is not it with me going live, but just you guys in the chat, you guys showing up to support and all that other good stuff. Like, it's just been amazing, and I'm hoping to do more of this. But we are about to get out of here. If you guys haven't already, hit the like button, go to subscribe to D's channel, all of his social medias, all that good stuff. Tell a friend to tell a friend that we are talking about Harlem. Go back if you haven't watched the previous videos and the lives. Go back and watch those also. But thank you guys so much for being here with us. I see you guys next time. Goodbye. Like, we gotta get out of here, D. I'm tired.